This is,
So when somebody pick up,
I'd say this is the most, this may be the most paradigm shifting strategy of them all. Schedule your convergent thinking tasks first. Okay, I want to explain difference between convergent and divergent thinking. Okay, divergent thinking is emails, cell phone, text messages, meetings. Your mind's going in a lot of different directions, and you're we don't really multitask. That's kind of like a misnomer. But you're doing parallel tasks, one after the other. Okay? There's a few articles about how we can do things parallel, but we can't do two things at the same time, actually. But so, at any rate, you're doing lots of things. Your mind's going in a lot of different directions, meetings, phone calls, you guys get the drift. All right, convergent thinking is the opposite. You're entirely focused on one task. Okay, the kinds of things that are convergent thinking are like writing, a meeting with just one person on a strategic theme, time to go for a walk and think strategically, working on a budget, working on a new proposal template, which is going to take a couple days, working on your strategic plan. These are larger, bigger picture type things, and they tend to be the things that go into that quadrant 3, the important but not urgent. Okay, well, here is the biggest mistake I have seen, and I still see leaders, nonprofit and for-profit sector, make all the time, is that they put these convergent thinking tasks in the day, in the afternoon somewhere, so they can come into the office and check in with everybody and make sure everything's fine, because we live in fear that everything's not fine, and make sure everything is okay and the organization's not going to fall apart, and make those phone calls, return those emails, because there might be an email saying I'm doing something wrong and I want to make sure that that's not the case, right? And then in the afternoon, I'm going to work for 3 hours on this new strategic initiative for a partnership with this new donor. God, and I can't believe it. At the end of the day, I didn't get to that. And that's what happens just about every single day. The most important things we don't get to. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because when your mind is, email is kind of like, it's kind of like a drug. It's a cheap thrill. It gives you a quick fix. When you're tired, it wakes you up. I can think of a few drugs that will do that. It immediately gets you working and gets you doing things and makes you feel useful again, because there's people that need your attention, right, and want things from you. Okay, but what happens is when we get into that divergent mode, we get so unsettled that we can't converge. We can't settle and just, the best thing to do before convergent thinking is to do something that really relaxes you, because then you're ready to write, or you're ready to really focus on one important task in your life. Now, what I recommend is to do the opposite of what most people do, which is put your convergent thinking tasks first. So let's say that you've got to create a new budget. You got to do some scenario planning. You got to work on your strategic plan. You've got a new proposal to get out. You got to work on your personnel manual. Schedule the 2 or 3 hours in the morning, because you know what you've been doing before that? You were sleeping, which is about the most convergent thinking that you can do. Although some of us have nightmares and our mind goes in a lot of different directions, for the most part, we wake up, we're in a more relaxed state, and if we're not, we can get into it more easily because we haven't added all these stimuli yet. So I recommend, come in, schedule from 9 to 11, 9 to 12, that you're going to be working on one task. And your staff can adjust to it if they know from you the importance of the task that you're working on. Just like you, I've got tremendous obligations, tremendous duties when I go into the office. Syra and Cheska know that I do content development in the morning. At first it was a little bit of a struggle. It was kind of like, well, we wish Tony was here. but I'm often out in a cafe with my laptop developing this content because I have to, or we don't have any program. We don't have any, I mean, this is our brand. This is our what puts us on the cutting edge. So the nice thing about it too is that when you've gotten it done, the feeling is just fantastic. You got the 3 hours done on whatever you needed to write or whatever you needed to draft or whatever it was whatever that most important task was, and you feel really good. Now you're in the office, you open your door, or you're ready for the world. You're ready for divergent thinking tasks. And you know what? It's kind of like a reward. Oh, I get to check email. You put it off, and now it's delayed gratification, and you actually can enjoy it. And when you limit like we talked about limiting your email to a certain amount of time, I mean, what I advocate even more than that is to create a folder in your inbox, or create a folder separate from your inbox, which you name something that signals these are very important tasks, and just put those emails that are important in there before you do them. So what I do, we're going to get into the quagmire of Tony's mind and how it works when I'm in the office, but I go in. I do not allow myself to check even one email from my inbox. I go in, there may be 100 emails, just like with you guys. I will go through and I will put them into a folder that's called Vision Aligned. I only allow myself to check emails from that folder. Others I delete. All right, sometimes I have like a subfolder, like it's Vision Aligned, but I can't get to it, but I don't want to forget it, because that Vision Aligned now has like 3,000 emails in it. I mean, a lot of them that go in there, I don't even have time to check. And then, so I have another folder, which is A-list. So if there's something I'm like, you know what, I can't deal with this today, but I don't want to forget it, so that's a much smaller. There may be just 20 emails in there, just to make sure I don't forget. So I'm trying to keep myself focused on the most aligned tasks, and I only check emails in the afternoon. I mean, it'd be very rare any of you will get an email from me in the morning, because I just don't check them. I also take at least one day a week where I don't check emails at all. And I've had people, this is where I get ribbed by participants more than anything, because then I'll get an email like, are you checking email today? Or is this Vision Aligned, Tony? But like, but that's how I operate, and it works for me. And I think it's great to even have a day where your staff don't check email, where you just say like, let's all focus on our most important task. Let's not email on Fridays, or why does it have to be the last day of the week? Maybe it should be Mondays. So it's very easy to go from convergent thinking to divergent thinking. It's very, very hard to go the other way around. That's why I recommend doing convergent thinking first. Now, I heard a lot of arguments to the contrary. For example, one woman who was a director that I coached said, I wake up and by 9 o'clock when I'm in the office, I've been like dealing with my kids, getting them ready for school. I'm already in divergent thinking, and there's no way I'm going to come in the office and start convergent. I want to like just get to my emails and get all that done. And then I do my, the proposals and such, I do later in the day. I go, yeah, and what time do you usually do them? Well, sometimes I have to take them home and I do them at night, sometimes on weekends. And it started to come out that, that's what usually happens. If you don't do them first, it ends up consuming your personal time.